Leafs prospect Fraser Minten is moved in a blockbuster deal to the Saskatchewan Blades. And there's been multiple updates on the front runners on the Patrick Kane situation. So we'll get into that later on in this episode. But before I start, I just wanted to say that the 82.6% of you guys that aren't subscribed, if you're enjoying this daily NHL and Leafs content, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all season long, but I'll hop straight into the first topic, which is the Kane Saga continues. Now, there was a tweet that came out today where they said the Avs have had interest in Kane going back to a couple seasons now. No doubt they've made at least an offer. However, Elliott and Freeman report holds true, and Kane wants a multi-year deal. I'm not sure that's something the Avs would or want or can do and be involved in. Now, when you do look at Patrick Kane, I don't have to go into too much. Patrick Kane is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He won the Calder, Art Ross, the Hart, multiple trophies. I mean, if you just look down through this list, there's so many seasons, 110 points, 106. This is a guy that's been around the league. He's a veteran. He's a guy that knows how to win. Now, the big question is you might be thinking is, how does he fit on the Avs, and how does this really work? So when you do kind of look at the Avalanche roster, I mean, you still have this powerhouse team. The top line of Natushkin, McKinnon, Rantanen. Second line of Ryan Johansson, Tatar, Drouin. But this is where it could kind of move into maybe getting into the situation of you could look at maybe signing Kane, getting him on this third line, Wood, Colton, you can slide Kane in here. If Drouin continues with his struggles and doesn't keep things up, you can kind of get into maybe demoting him down the line. You can maybe keep Wood here, maybe move Drouin down to the fourth, make him a scratch. There's so many opportunities with such a juggernaut team. Just adding this experience to a team that already has a Stanley Cup win. Nathan McKinnon, Rantanen. There's so many guys on this list that have one. So getting him on this team would honestly work perfectly. As I said, this is a guy, Patrick Kane, you can slide within the lineup. You can put him on the third line, the second line, the top power play, even on the top line. With the contract, there is a bit of situation of people talking about this might be a multi-year deal. So Patrick Kane did just come off his double hip surgery, which is a little concerning for a guy his age. But when you look at Patrick Kane, this is a guy that every team is calling on. I know he's slowly narrowing down his list, and the Avalanche have to be on this final cut of Kane's maybe looking at them or another team. Because as I said, right now this lineup's missing Captain Landeskog, Lehkonen. Both these guys are Landeskog's making $7 million. Lehkonen's making 4.5. Landeskog signed until 2028-29 and Lehkonen 26-27. So this team does have roughly just under 4.2 million in cap. Now there is a couple injuries floating around on Colorado as well, but if Kane is looking for a multi-year deal, this might be at maybe 1 million, 1.5, or 2. If you can lock him up on this 2-year deal, 2 million per year, you could put him on LTIR next year. You can trade him. There's so many ways to get around this cap if it starts to become a burden on the Avalanche. But I think this season alone, without having Landeskog, Lehkonen, these guys to just kind of put into this lineup, to fill out this bottom six, be able to slide people around, I think Kane is a must add to this team. Now, there are reports going around of a second team that is apparently in the front running for Kane as well. Kevin Weeks says, as of today, and this is subject to change, but as of right now, these guys are the front runner to acquire Kane. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is this team? Who is this team? This team is the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers are in a bit more of a cap situation where they won't be able to sign Kane without making moves. This might be sending a guy or two down. But Patrick Kane, at his age, coming off a double hip surgery, this sounds like the type of person that is going to Florida for retirement. This sounds like every Canadian that's moving to Florida to hit the retirement homes, and what's better than playing the NHL and then finally retiring in Florida. So when you do look at these lines, Rodriguez, Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Liddell, Cousins, you can keep going on. With this, I think Kane would fit perfectly into this third line again. I know this is a bit of a scapegoat, me saying the third line twice, but with Kane, if you add him to a line with Lindell that you've seen in this, Cousins can slide down, maybe play the fourth line center, or move to wing, keep Ryan Lundberg down there. I think Kane could fit in perfectly. If Rodriguez starts to struggle, you can maybe drop him down a line, maybe move him to the third, put Patrick Kane on the top. And this is another thing of just adding experience to this Florida Panthers team. This is the team that just went to the Stanley Cup Finals. You have a guy like Barkov, Kachuk, Ekblad. You can continue on with this list. There's so many players here that make impacts that I think bringing in Kane would be perfect. As I said, you do get into the situation, the same with the Avs, where you don't want to commit to this guy for 2-3 years, especially coming off the double hip. We've recently seen in Toronto with Klingberg having a couple issues with his hips. We've seen Nick Backstrom, who's not able to play with Washington Capitals, and he's currently sitting out. So this is a surgery that is a bit of a concern, but if Kane can come in and put up one productive season, help you get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, help you get to the Cup Finals, and ultimately win his 4th Cup with the respected team, I think this is just a win-win for both sides, and I think both of these teams need to be in. Now, and if you ask my opinion, I think the Avalanche might be heavy in on them. With a lot of reports coming out that Florida is the team that seems like the front runner, I could definitely see this, but this is hockey news. Anything could happen in any second. The change of the wind, and then Kane could be going to Boston, which I don't think anyone wants to see, but that's besides the point. Now, we'll get into the next topic here, which is Fraser Minten traded. Fraser Minten was just traded in a blockbuster deal to the Saskatchewan Blades. He was traded for Jordan Keller, a 4th, a 1st, and another 1st. That would be in 2024, 2025. You can pause if you wanted to look at the screenshot. But Fraser Minten, this is a household name, especially if you're a Leafs fan. We've talked about him a lot on this channel. This is a guy that came into the Leafs preseason, looked outstanding, made the team, made it into the middle 6, showed a bit of promise, but ultimately did get sent down. Now, when he did get sent down, there was a lot of struggles with Kamloops, with the Blazers. So they did end up trading him off to get some draft capital into the next WHL draft. And another young guy that was 2005 instead of Minten being 2004. But when you do look at this, the big thing about this and the most exciting thing, I know a lot of people might be looking at this and be like, who cares about a WHL trade? This is just a prospect getting moved to another team to play with more prospects. But there's more to look at this than just that. So when you do look at Saskatchewan, you have a couple of guys here. Trevor Wong, who has 37 points in just 24 games. I won't read down this whole list, but this is the top 5 in scoring. Right now, Fraser Minten only does have 15 points, so he wouldn't even be in the top 5 for this team. The big thing was Brendan Laskowski, where you see number 3 with 27 points. This is a Leafs prospect as well. This was a guy they drafted in the 7th round. So if you can get Fraser Minten in to build some chemistry with Brandon, this might become a next year, year after, maybe a couple seasons, this could be a familiar face where you see this as the Leafs' 3rd line. This is going to build a chemistry. This team is the 2nd in their division. So looking at that as well, you're going to get him onto a winning team. He will lose his captaincy for the most part. He was wearing that with Kamloops. But other than this, you will put him on more of a powerhouse team, a team that's going to get him more scoring chances, more offensive touches. This is going to be a team that helps him develop instead of being caught in a rut. You see a lot of guys. Connor Bedard, currently on Chicago, is in a good situation where he might turn out to be the best player in the league. But they still signed a lot of guys around him that can still put up points. Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, Corey Perry, that's a different situation. But you see these guys that sign around him to help the development, to continue where they're not just sitting there and putting up 10, 15, 20 points a season. So getting them into this lineup where you have guys with 37 points, 30, 27, 25, 19. This is just massive for the development, as I said, with not only playing with another Leafs prospect, but getting them into a lineup, into a team, into a system that is currently looking to win. A team that's going to push, they're going to try to win the cup, and then ultimately Fraser Minten is going to use this experience and try to make the Leafs roster next year. So we'll get into everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day comes from, we actually got 2. Which is Sean saying, congrats on reaching 2,000 subscribers. I do want to say thank you, everyone. This actually means everything to myself and KC. Seeing us hit 2,000 is just incredible. I know our next goal is 3,000, and I think you guys can do this before Christmas with how much support you've shown. But we'll get right into the comment again, which is, congrats on hitting 2,000 subscribers. Love your show. So informative. As always, go Leafs go. Way up from North Timmins, Ontario, Canada. And I added the second one in as well, because there's another guy from the US that said ditto, that he did enjoy watching this. Now, this did come from a video where I said, go down, comment where you're from. It's awesome to see people from around the world. I know we have people from Finland, Sweden, Australia. I think there's a couple hundred people from Hong Kong, the Philippines. It's just awesome to see so many different people from around the world just watching our content. So make sure to go down and let us know where you're watching this from. It's awesome to read. And also, while you're down there, let us know. What's your thoughts? Do you think Patrick Kane fits on the Avalanche more? Do you think he's more bound for the Florida Panthers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins? What team do you think he makes it to? And what's your thoughts on Fraser Minten? Do you think this going to a powerhouse is going to help with his development? Or do you think this is just one of those things where he's going to go there, continue his play, and then still make the Leafs top six, middle six, bottom six at some point in the near future? Anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down, like, subscribe. We'll be here all season long, and take care.